Welcome back to the desk. The both William Paterson basketball teams are finishing out their season, and here to break that down, we have Danny, Andrew, John, and Anthony. Andrew, we're going to go to you first this Wednesday. The men's team, they got a hard-fought victory over Rutgers Camden. We predicted this on Tuesday. We said there was a chance it could be a blowout, but what did you see from the game?
Yeah, man, it was a really good game. We'll take a look at the stats right now. It was a 58-38 William Paterson win. We had 13 points for Dom, 12 for Brian Mignon. Shot 43% from the field, 33 from three. Had the same amount of rebounds and they had 10 more turnovers than us. It was a rough one for Rutgers Camden on Wednesday.
John?
So what I've noticed is that it was a very low-scoring game, right? Because normally we'd put up 70, 80 points, right? But as you can see, it wasn't about field goal percentage. It wasn't our shooting was awful, but it was more of like a defensive game because we're averaging about 9 steals per game, and on Wednesday we also had 4 blocks. So with that and the good shooting, that's just how we came out on top.
Anthony?
Yeah, the Pioneers led by like almost 20 towards the end of the first half. That lead actually got down to like around 10. And you go into the half saying, not a bad lead. 10 points is a solid lead, but could have been more. How is the team going to bounce back? And Rutgers Camden went on a run to end the first half. They ended up coming out in the second half. They went on an 11-2 run to finish the game. They ended up winning by 20. They could have blown that game right there, but they coasted. They bounced back in the locker room during halftime and after halftime. Got a nice, easy victory.
Yeah, we said this on Tuesday. We said that the Pioneers couldn't get off to a slump to start the game. Even though, Rutgers Camden, they only won one game, we couldn't underestimate the opponent. And I don't think Coach Chapman let them do that. But Danny, what did you see from the game?
Well, for me, Samory, for the most part, they put on a defensive masterpiece. They really put on the clamps, only allowing 38 points, and they held them to 36% from the field and 24% from three. Man, as an accountant, those are not great numbers. And also, honestly, they turned defense into offense, creating 22 turnovers, and off those turnovers, they got 24 points out of them.
Yeah, and we won by 20 points. So you see how the turnovers helped us in the game. So 2 games left in the season. We have a game tomorrow. Then there's a game next Wednesday, Anthony. What do you think the men's keys to success to, get into the NJAC tournament and be successful in that NJAC tournament? What do you think the keys to success are?
I originally came into this thinking that they had to limit offensive rebounds. Now I'm just thinking offensive rebounds as a whole. This is a team that is small, generally speaking. They don't really have a ton of height. And when you are small, you cannot let teams get second chance opportunities. 8 offensive rebounds against Rutgers Camden. That is the second lowest since, I think, January 15th. If you limit those offensive boards, you're setting yourself up to win. On the flip side, if you get offensive boards, you're getting those second chance points for shooters like Nick Rodriguez, Neftali Valentin, Dom Mignon. Should lead to wins.
And we know, I say this because when I played basketball, all my coaches always stressed rebounding because rebounding creates possessions. Well, what do you think is the key to success, John?
I'm going with closing out close games because what I've noticed is we either win or lose by close margins or it's a blowout. We'll win by 20, we'll lose by 20. So what I'm saying is if we can get a blowout, perfect, but keep that lead. Don't give your opponents the chance to catch up. And in close games when we're behind, gain the momentum and keep that for the rest of the game.
I agree. Danny, what are your thoughts on this one? What's your key to success?
I talked about it in the first question, Samory. I'm going to go with points off turnovers. Turning defense into offense is a great way to keep the offense flowing and get into rhythm, get some bunnies, get some transition threes. Not only that, you always have your defense set if you're capitalizing off those opportunities and you're forcing the opponent to execute in the half court. And I also noticed that when the men's Pioneers force 20-plus turnovers, they get 20 points off those turnovers, they're 6-2 as opposed to 3-8 when they don't.
Andrew, close us out for this question.
I got to go three-point shooting. This is a team that absolutely lives and dies by the three. With Dom Mignon, Nicky Rod, and Brian Monahan, we're shooting 33% as a team. That's 5th in the NJAC right now. And it's key coming up tomorrow against TCNJ. They're making almost 9 threes a game. They're one of the best shooters in the NJAC. It's going to be huge tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game to see. And a couple of the guys will be on the call for Brave New Radio, so we will definitely keep our eyes out for that one. Switching sides over to the women's side. Anthony, we're going to go to you. You have a couple games left, just like the men. 2 games. We have the game tomorrow against TCNJ, and then there's a game against Kean, What do you think? Which game is more important, do you think?
Yeah, we're actually going to look at the stats for both these teams this season, and you're going to see kind of a separation here between Kean and TCNJ. Really solid numbers for Kean. 14-2 in the NJAC, 15-6 overall. TCNJ, solid but not nearly as good as Kean. But I'm going to go with TCNJ, or I'm going to go with Kean here rather. The women's team played Kean on January 12th, nearly won. They got very close to a victory. They ended up losing by 7. Very tough loss as well. This is a great revenge game for the Pioneers. And to close out the season, if you can get that win against Kean ahead of the NJAC tournament, you can really set yourself up with some good confidence going into that tourney.
Andrew?
I got to agree with Anthony here. I got to say Kean. I mean, Kean, they lead the NJAC right now, 14-2 conference record. We're 4th right now, 10-6. Last game we lost, Brianna Brooks did not play, so I think that's going to be a key piece on Wednesday, and I think we can come out there and get a win for the last game of the regular season.
John?
So I'm not going to lie, this was kind of a hard question for me because we're both coming off losses from both teams, right? But I think if we take this TCNJ game, then we'll have the 3-win streak going into our last game of the season. We'll have that momentum. And like you said, we lost by 7 against Kean, right? So if we have that momentum and we have the 3-win streak, they're going to go in feeling like $1 million.
Yes.
And then I think we're going to take the win over Kean. We have to get TCNJ first.
I think the momentum builds with tomorrow. I agree with you on
Yes.
that. The momentum starts with tomorrow. Danny?
I think we're going to be split here because I completely agree. The momentum starts tomorrow. They have to win against TCNJ so they can feel good about themselves heading away at Kean. And not only that, I feel like the Kean game is going to be extremely difficult after loss.
Now, keeping it with TCNJ and also keeping it with you, Danny, we play TCNJ tomorrow. Give me the scouting report on this one. What are your thoughts on this one? What do you see from this game?
I don't expect such a high-scoring affair in this one, but if we could take a look at the stats right here, in this matchup between TCNJ and the Lady Pioneers. If we look at the record, TCNJ is 7-9 as opposed to William Patterson's 10-6. TCNJ is scoring 61 points per game as opposed to William Patterson's 65 points per game. TCNJ is shooting 38% and William Patterson is shooting 38%. TCNJ is shooting 32% from 3 and 29% from the field, and then both teams are averaging a solid amount of turnovers, to say the least. So like I said, don't expect a high-scoring affair, but I will say, though, whichever team limits the turnovers will pull out the dub.
John?
So what I focused on last game was throughout the game, the Lady Pioneers scored more points each quarter. It was like 11 in the first, 15 in the second, 18, then 20, and then it was the opposite for TCNJ. So my, not really advice here, but if we can get on top early and continue to play the way we played the last time, then that's easily our win. The dub is ours.
Anthony, quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Kiana Vigo against TCNJ last game, it was a game that they lost in overtime. It was a very competitive game. Vigo led the game with 25 points. I mean, I expect her to have a really nice game, 9 for 21 shooting, be aggressive, take your shots, get rebounds, should win.
Andrew, quickly, close us out.
Couple of points. They shoot a lot of threes, TCNJ. Got to guard the perimeter the whole time. And Julia Sotero, got to watch out for her. She had 22 points and 4 threes against us last time. And Brianna Brooks didn't play last game. I think Pioneers can come out with a win tomorrow.
Well, we are all hoping for Pioneer victories in both games versus Kean and TCNJ for both the men's and the women's. But as the Pioneers wrap up their season on the hardwood, the baseball season is still locked out, and we'll check in with the MLB crew to talk all the latest on the diamond coming up next on WPTV.